You awake to find yourself no longer in the company of good men or a fine seafaring vessel. Instead, you discover yourself in tattered clothing with a pocket full of shoddy items. Treasure. You remember something about treasure. Your past experiences provide you benefits for survival. How's it going, guys? This is Coach, and I'm here today to show you this completely free game called Wayward. It is a beta game. It's 1.7. It's very stable, runs very well, and it's a roguelike survival game where you start off in a desert island stranded with very little in terms of resources, but we'll get into that in a little moment. The game has a lot of really neat features that I really like. Most importantly, it can be played in your browser, so if you're at work or whatever and you just want something to fool around with at lunch, say every day you just jump on this and it'll keep your save file on the website if you're using the same computer. As far as I'm aware, you can also download it to run in your desktop, and you can resize the window and all that fun stuff, so you can be watching a stream or whatever it is and then playing this at the same time. Now you've a myriad of buttons down here. The main menu is just, gives you some basic options for saving and continue and ending your game. The milestones is sort of the achievements. You can do all sorts of fun stuff that will earn you achievements. For example, Survivor. If you survive 10,000 turns, which I have done, you will get a little pop-up and you get this little achievement. So this is a neat way to sort of track how well you're doing overall throughout multiple games. Up in the top here you have your messages screen. This is where you'll get messages like, for example, if you pick up something. So I'll walk over here and pick up this trout, or this is a message in a bottle, sorry. You pick up a message in a bottle. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. And this messages screen up here can be moved around. If you click down here, the messages button. So if you're not too happy with it up here, you can just move it around, but I actually don't mind it up there, so I'm going to leave it. Options menu. Currently I do have the sound off because the music and sound effects are a little bit louder than I had anticipated in my test recording, and so it kind of drowned out my voice, but I will later on turn on the music and sound so you can kind of hear it. You have various options like auto gathering. That means if you sort of walk into something, you'll just automatically gather from it. You'll automatically pick things up. Hints, pixel, font, full screen, yada yada, sort of basic stuff. It's not a particularly graphically intensive game, but you do have some options there. And it also has the options for modding. There are some cool mods out there that I might show in future videos, but for now I'm just going to play the vanilla game and introduce you to some of the mechanics and what you'll actually be doing in the game. So to start off, you have an inventory. So this is all the items I will start with, and these are randomized at the start of every game. Generally speaking, you're going to get a bedroll for sleeping on, at least one or two rocks, and then maybe some plant items, and maybe an animal item, and then usually you'll get at least one tool to start with. Luckily enough, I started with a shovel. Shovels are very useful tools. You can also craft. There's a huge list of items that you can craft, and when you start the game you don't actually have them all unlocked, but you can later. As you gather the items required for a recipe, you'll instantly unlock that. But also occasionally, for example, say I were to craft a stone axe, I might somehow unlock the recipe for the stone shovel or the stone hammer, even though I don't have the resources for those. But because I crafted an item that is similar, I learnt those crafting recipes sort of intuitively. And you also have your equipment screen. This is where you can equip weapons and armor. You can have a long list of different items and equipment that you can equip, and you have two hands to hold swords and shields, or a tool and a weapon. And you have your skills over here in the bottom left. This will sort of, as you do things, they level up. And this is really important because the game actually gets harder the more skills you have, and this is sort of represented by your talent. The higher your talent, the scarier the monsters will spawn. I actually had a game where I was playing where I had built a lovely little wooden house, and I was sort of minecrafting my way around and building these lovely little roadways, and I was mining and gathering and just generally having fun with the game. And then a fire imp spawned because my talent got too high and burnt my whole house down, and I had to run away screaming on fire, leaving all my items behind me. But luckily enough, I managed to retain my skills and all my items, and I rebuilt anew until another fire spirit came and burnt down that house. So You have some pretty basic stats here that sort of are the dictations of how you're going to play the game. You have your health, which is, you know, you run out of health, you die, very simple. Your stamina, which dictates how many actions you can do before you have to rest. And various actions take a certain amount of stamina. For example, cutting trees will take some stamina, but as your woodcutting skill increases, your chance of success at woodcutting increases, but so does the amount of stamina you use. You use less stamina, the better at woodcutting you get. You have your hunger. If hunger goes too low, you'll slow down and you'll get very weak and you'll slowly lose health. The same works for thirst. So that's enough talking about the game, I think. Let's actually get started. So I've started here on a beach with some sand and some dirt and some grass, but there's a snake over here and I kind of want to avoid that snake, so I'm just going to run away because right now I'm very weak. I have no weapons, I have very little in the way of abilities to defend myself, and I'm just going to equip this tool to my hand, and if I click on the tool I can dig. Alternatively, what I can do is I can put the tool down here in my hotbar, and I have 1 to 9, and these are your keyboard keys that you can use, and if I face this and press 1, it'll dig it. And I can also walk towards this fish. Let me just see if I can kill this fish. No, he swam out to sea. I'm probably best off not attempting that. So how do you gather resources in this game? Well, it's incredibly simple actually. You just walk up to a tree and then you keep walking into it like any sort of roguelike game, and you'll notice here I'm getting pop-ups. You know, botany has increased, lumberjacking has increased, you picked up tree bark, and these all items have appeared in my inventory. But you probably also noticed that my stamina was going down and my health is going down. Now my health was going down because I'm basically punching this tree with my hands, and that's hurting me. So if I were to equip, and I'll just punch it a few more times so you can see the health go down a little bit more. Oh, it actually went up, which is kind of unfortunate. The game is making a liar of me, but I can definitely assure you that if you punch a tree without a tool, you will hurt yourself. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to equip this tool, and this will lose durability from me hitting this tree. I'm gaining resources with which to craft. So I've basically stripped this tree down now. I've taken all the leaves, all the twigs, and all the branches, and this is represented by the items I've got in my inventory. So if I press C to open up my crafting menu, you can see all the stuff I can craft. Now, I have an animal skull, which means I can make a skull cap. So why don't we just click on that? But I failed. I failed to craft the skull cap, so let's try it again. And there we go. I managed to craft the skull cap, and now I can drag that down onto my equipment slot, or I can just very quickly right-clicking drops it. I can just drag it down. So, what is the objective of the game? Well, I kind of already covered that, and that's to survive, and that's a rat. Well, rats aren't very scary, and fortunately they do provide a nice chunk of meat early game. So if I just beat this rat up, you can notice my health and stamina are going down. But now that I've hurt the rat a significant amount, it's running away, and now I need to carve its corpse to get its lovely meat and bones. I don't have a tool to carve it because I have no sharp tools, but since I have 2 rocks at least, I can go up here into my crafting window and craft a sharp rock. I failed to craft the sharp rock, so these stones lost a little bit of durability, but that's not a big deal, so I'll try again, and there we go. I crafted a sharp rock, and now if I click on the sharp rock while facing the rat and click on the carve, I'll carve him up into meat, and now I've got all these sort of animal meats in my inventory. I've got like animal fat, offal, bones, etc. And these are all useful items that I can turn into other resources later. And currently I'm bleeding, which is very, very bad. So let's see if we can rectify that. I'm going to craft a bone pole and then a sharpened bone, and then I'm going to further refine that bone into a bone needle. And now that I have a bone needle, I'm going to make some string. I failed to craft the string. There we go. I made some string, and with string and a needle-like object I can make a suture. I failed to make the suture. I failed again. There we go. I crafted a suture, and now if I click on the suture and heal, I will no longer be bleeding, and I gain some health back. Now, you won't bleed out most of the time, but I think it's sort of semi-random how long you're going to bleed for, so it's definitely something you want to sort of take care of rather quickly if you can. So I'm going to go just break some rocks with my shovel, because I want to make a mortar and pestle to show you some other of the things that you can do in this game. So just once I can make a smooth rock. I have a smooth rock. Let's just keep going. There we go, I'm getting more stone. And there we go, I'm going to make another smooth rock. And with these 2 smooth rocks, I can make a mortar and pestle. And a mortar and pestle allows me to grind up some resources into other resources, like tannin, which I can use to tan this leather I got. So I'm going to tan this leather. And later on, that'll be very useful when I want to make leather armor. But for now, I'm going to just take it easy, because I don't want to do too much of something, because I'll get too highly skilled, but not enough combat skills to defend myself. So earlier on, I found a message in a bottle, so let's open that up and see what it says. Open. You have discovered an old instructional scroll. An instructional scroll. Consumed on use, reading usually provides useful knowledge. So if I click on this and read, I have discovered how to create an iron hammer. That's very handy indeed. How to create an iron hammer. That's somewhere in here. If I just scroll up here, you've got your filter. So if I put in hammer, there it is. Iron hammer. Awesome. So what are the essentials that you're going to need to at least get started? Well, the website actually has a very in-depth wiki with all the information on all of the items, and there are like 200 items in this game. But generally, personally, I find the best place to start is somewhere near inland water, because you can drink that relatively safely, because obviously you don't want to be drinking seawater to quench your thirst, because it's not going to do a whole lot for you. But if you start near inland water, you don't really need to purify it, and you can still get some benefit. Since it's kind of wild water, it will hurt your health a little bit, but it'll refill your thirst reliably. And when you pick this water up, gather water, it disappears. So this is sort of a limited commodity until you have a way to purify water from the ocean later, which you can do, and it is possible. So my stamina is rather low, so I'm going to, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down this tree right here and start building a little house for myself. Once the sort of leaves and bark and all is stripped away from the tree, you'll start hacking at the actual logs themselves and be getting logs from it. And you need 3 logs, I believe, so let me just try and get this many. There we go. I have 3 logs now. 3 logs, sorry for the accent. We say 3 like tree. But now I can build, for example, a door or some floor. Floors take 2 logs, and you also need to have a sharpened tool. And my shovel is quite well durability'd. But initially, I believe the most important thing that you're going to want is a campfire, because that lets you cook food, and cooked food lasts a lot longer than raw food, interestingly enough. So I'm going to rest here to get my stamina back, because I need to go breaking some rocks. Break this rock here, because I believe you need a certain amount of stones for making campfires. Oh, I managed to completely break that rock, and campfire is here somewhere. If I just go up here and type in camp, here it is, campfire. Okay, I have 5 rocks and a pole-like object, which is this branch. So if I face, I don't need to face yet because I'm not actually building it, but let me just dig up this swamp area because it's not particularly pleasant. So dig. I think this will be easier if I put it there and just use the hotkey. There we go. We dug up the swamp, because swamp isn't very nice to sleep on or stand on. This is just a personal preference. It doesn't actually have an effect on the game, but importantly, when you dig up swamp, which you can tell because it's this greener than this kind of grassy or dirty area, you get peat, and peat is very good for keeping fires going. So I'm going to build a little fire pit here, and now I need to light it on fire. But how do I light it on fire? Well, it's actually quite easy. You can use either a hand drill, which is a very simple version of a fire making device, or you can use the fire plow. The fire plow is a little bit harder to make, takes a little bit more resources, but it will last a lot longer. So it's very useful to have. Now, to also start a fire, you need 3 things. You need a fuel-like object, which can be this peat or a log. You also need tinder, which is made from twigs, and you also need kindling, which is made from bark. Now I'm going to make some tinder. Oh, failed to craft, there we go. I'm going to make some kindling. There we go. I have kindling, tinder, and a fuel source. So now if I click on my fire plow here, I will make a fire. Oh, I failed to start the fire. I failed to start the fire. I failed to start the fire. Whoopsies, come on. Come on. Oh, I need to get more tinder, so I'm going to have to punch another tree. Let's rest a little bit to get our stamina back. I think it was tinder I needed. I'm just trying to punch this tree. Nope, don't quite have what I need yet. I need some twigs. Oh, and that's a spider. Well, luckily enough, I feel like I'm strong enough to fight a spider. This early game, I do have a little bit of armor. Probably going to want to equip my shovel. Does a little bit more damage than my fists. There we go, we've killed the spider, and now we can carve him up for meat and pick up his web that he left behind. So let's get back to trying to start this. I think I already have kindling. Let me see here. I don't have any tinder, so I need some tinder. Well, luckily enough, I have some tinder. Or I can craft some at least. Fail to start a fire. I don't have any kindling. Ugh, I need to cut down more trees. Ugh. So you can kind of see that this game is rather tough in terms of its gameplay. You know, you're going to fail a lot until your skills get up. And that to me is pretty cool. So I got some kindling. Let's see if I can start this fire again. I'm getting really unlucky. Usually I start a fire within like the first like 2 tries, but I'm just really I need more tinder now. The sharp rock is getting broken. Okay, come on, start the fire. Please start the fire, game. Come on, I need kindling again. God. This game is just making fun of me, guys. I'm really sorry. Come on, give me some kindling. And now I need to rest again because my stamina has gotten very low. There we go, that should do the trick. It was kindling I needed, I think. Oh, no, it was tinder. No good. Oh, keep in mind that you do have a weight, and if you carry too much weight, you won't be able to move as fast, and you will lose a lot of stamina for being over encumbered. So that's why I'm probably at some point going to craft a wooden chest. Failed to craft. Failed to craft. There we go, I've got a wooden chest. Let's just plop it down over here. I can open up the wooden chest. Oh, my crafting window's in the way. And I can put my sticks in here. Cause I really don't need like the 40 sticks or whatever it is I have in my inventory. And this is just, this will clean up weight and it'll clean up inventory space. So, back to trying to start this damn fire. What was it I needed again? I have tinder, I need kindling. Oh, I don't have a sharp rock. Well, time to punch some more rocks, get a sharper rock. There we go. I have a sharp rock now, and I should be able to make some tinder. What do I need to make kindling? I need twigs. I need twigs, so let's see if I can get some from this tree. Getting really unlucky, unfortunately, but you know, that's the game. I'm gonna get pretty unlucky. Alright, so I have some twigs, so I need kindling. Here we go. Crafted kindling. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, we have a fire now. So now that we have a fire, we can cook that ant we killed earlier. And I think I did have some meat, but unfortunately I think it rotted away in my inventory. Yeah, you can see this rotten meat here. If you don't cook your food fast enough, it will rot away, and then you kind of just have to throw it on the ground and hope it rots away. So let's cook this ant. Right now the ant takes, the spider takes 4,352 turns to decay, but if I were to cook it, it will now take a little bit longer, and it'll heal more of my stats. So let's rest here. My stamina is low. Keep in mind, it's very important to build somewhere that's safe to rest, because if you rest out in the open, monsters can and will attack you. So I'm going to get started here. I'm going to cut down this tree, get this out of my way. Oh, my tool is very hurt. I kind of want to save that, so I'm going to put it in my inventory. And I'm going to just use a wooden pole to break some rocks so that I can make a hammer. Let me just see here. Hammer. Because a hammer you can repair things with. So I need some string. Let's see if I can. There we go. Made some string, and now I can make a stone hammer. Now that I have my stone hammer, I can repair my item. So if I just right click my stone shovel while it's in my inventory, I'm going to put it on the ground in front of me, and then I want to left click on my stone hammer, click the repair, and it'll tell me you repair the item or you fail to repair the item. You might have to do it a couple of times, but I managed to do it on the first try. And now I've got a fully repaired shovel. Keep in mind it did lose some maximum durability, but I basically got some extra usability out of a tool for the cost of 1 durability on a stone hammer, which was, you know, fairly cheap to make. So I need to go up and cut down this tree. Okay, the tree has been cut down. Now I wouldn't recommend making your house out of wood all the time, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So if I walk over here, I can build a door. Oh, I failed to craft a door. There we go, and I'm going to place the door here. I'll walk over here and create a wall. Created the wall, set down the wall here. And you can see through the door, but you can't see through the wall. This is helpful because monsters won't be able to see you at nighttime and they're less likely to bother you. So I'm pretty low on stamina, so I'm going to have a little rest here. And my thirst is getting really low, so I think I'm going to drink some of that water I captured. Now, I was very lucky in that I managed to get a second bottle really early, and this is really helpful because it lets you carry around a lot more water if, and most likely when, you need to up your routes and get out of where you are due to monster attacks or you know, a lack of resources nearby. So I'm going to drink this water, and you'll notice it cut my health down a little bit. That's because it was unpurified water. If I had drank this desalinated water in a glass bottle, I would have been fine. But I opted to drink the other water because this is a sort of precious resource and I can't really make desalinated water at the moment. I'm going to continue to punch trees. In fact, I might actually clear out my inventory a little more so that I have more room to punch trees with. Some stones here that I don't need. I'm going to get rid of these. I think food doesn't decay as fast if you put it in a container. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. Oops, fire plow. You don't need to keep the fire going all the time, but it might be a good idea since starting a fire can be hazardous, as you saw earlier. So my inventory is relatively clear here, so I can go punch some more trees and make a little house for myself. So I'm just going to quickly craft a little house for myself, and then I'll more or less end this. So I have some logs, I can craft walls. There we go. Got a basic little setup right now. Just need a few more trees. Let's have a little rest. Keep in mind you do rest longer at nighttime, and it doesn't stop when your thing is full. It stops, it's sort of determined by your camping skill, which is more or less how used you are to sort of roughing it out in the wild. I wouldn't recommend starting off just lumberjacking. I would actually recommend being sort of more nomadic, building like a couple of campfires all around the place rather than instantaneously the moment you start up the game building a sort of house for you to live in. That's sort of something you want to think about a little bit later, because as I said, the longer you go, sorry, the higher your skills are, the nastier the monsters are. So if you spend a lot of time wood cutting, nasty monsters are going to appear before you are entirely prepared for them. So my shovel has taken a little bit of damage here, so I'm just going to repair it again, and you'll notice when I pick it back, oh, I failed to repair it, sorry. Failed to repair, failed to repair, failed to repair, failed to repair. I am getting skill ups for this, so it's not entirely a waste. There we go, repaired it. And it was 33 of 33, and now it's 23 of 23. So it's slowly being less useful each time, but I am getting a lot out of it. And getting your repair skill up is a very handy thing to do. So, just breaking down some trees. There we go. Then I want to build a couple of other walls. Oh, my sharp item broke, so let's see if I can get some more stone. There we go, I got a sharp stone so I can create walls again. Ooh, my guy's really tired from making all this housing stuff. Let's see if we can just camp out in our house here. I'm not going to build the corners because that's just extra work that honestly isn't really necessary, because monsters can't walk. You can't really walk diagonally in this game. Let's just punch, punch, punch. Let's let's walk over to this and offload some more of these twigs and stuff. All of this stuff is really useful, but there's like a ton of items in this game. You can craft iron armor, leather armor. You can even like lash together bits of wood to make some very basic armor, which will help you, you know, fight off bears and all sorts of nasty monsters that can come during the daytime. And as far as nighttime goes, it's generally not okay to wander around, because I think scarier monsters spawn at night. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it seems to be the trend. I don't know if it's coded into the game or just my paranoia kicking in. But I have noticed that it seems a little more dangerous to be out at night, which is kind of a theme of survival games that if you've followed any of them at all, you'll sort of know about. There we go, I repaired my item, but my hammer is almost broken, but I think I've gotten a fair bit of use out of that hammer, so I'm not too upset about that, because it has made my stone shovel go a lot longer than it otherwise would have. There we go, gotten a bunch of logs, and I've also increased the amount of weight I can gain and some other various stats from all this work I'm doing, because my character is getting stronger. Crafting these takes a lot out of my guy. And also really important is you're going to want at least 2 exits to a house you build, because what will happen is monsters will sort of hang out by the door and you won't be able to escape your house if you don't have 2 exits. Let's see here, I need 1, 2, 3 more. I need 9 more bits of wood. So I'm going to rest here. There we go, refilled my stamina, and now I can cut down this. Oh, something I had just remembered that I had meant to tell you guys is in the options, I recommend turning off the animations, because if I turn them on here, it really slows down the pace of the game, because you see these kind of floating things, and your character doesn't really do anything until they're done appearing. So I like to play with them off, because it means I can sort of dictate the pace of the game myself, rather than having to wait for an animation to complete, which, you know, can be cumbersome and annoying. Repair my shovel one last time. I think this is the last I'm going to get out of it. There we go, I broke my stone hammer, but I got another stone shovel. I should be able to build another stone shovel, no problem. There we go, I need 9 more bits of log. So that's this tree and then 1 more. So let's see if I can walk over here and build the 2 pieces of wall. There we go. I need a little bit more things, so I'm going to just make a wooden pole. Oh, another important thing is the actual tool you use for the task doesn't really matter, just as long as you're not punching something with your bare hands. You can use a twig to break trees or rocks or something. Just as long as you're not punching with your bare hands, you won't take damage. So I've got 4 logs here. If I pick up this peat or this dirt, I guess is what it is. Filth. Oh, I need another rock because my rock broke. There we go, I can make a sharp rock now. You need 2 large rocks to make a sharp rock, sort of knock them off each other, and then you can sharpen things. There we go. Place. So now I have a little house, and I can go in here and I can start a fire. So let's see if we can't get a fire going. I'm going to get my fire plow out of my chest. You do not have any kindling. I need some kindling, so let's craft some kindling and then start the fire. I don't have any tinder, so let's craft some tinder and then try and start the fire. Fuel-like items, so I need, let's see, do I have any peat in here? There we go, there's some peat. I can use peat as fuel, which is what I dug up from the swamp earlier. There we go, and now I've got a little fire in my house and I can cook food. You don't need a fire to be warm. Fire is mainly a functional thing. You can cook sand. In fact, I'll go dig some sand right now. What do I need for a shovel? I need some string. How do I get string? I'm trying to remember. Leaves. There we go. You need 2 rope-like to make string. And then with the string, I can make a shovel. And then if I put my shovel down here, I put my shovel down here in the 1 bar and then press 1 while on sand, I should dig up some pile of sand. I'll get 2 piles of sand just to show. And there's sort of 2 things, I'll get some more sand, so I can show you more appropriately stuff. So there's a few things you can do with sand, and there's a lot of resources in this game that you're going to want to explore, but I don't want to kind of spoil everything, so I'm just going to talk briefly about sand and stuff. You can use your mortar and pestle to grind it up into fine sand, and you can use this for other things. But with this sand, what I can do is I think I can cook it in a fire source here. Yeah, and now I have another type of sharp item, which is a replacement for sharp rocks. And you'll notice here in some of these crafting things, the crafting recipes, it'll have requirements. Like, if I look here, yeah, here, it says you need, no, that's not it. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So, twigs. To make twigs out of a branch, you need a branch and a sharpened tool. And you'll see it's highlighting this sharp glass, because the sharp glass is a sharpened item. And if I go down here and dig out some rocks, I can show you another sharp item, which we've already used. Here we go. If you have two of these large rocks, you can craft a sharp rock, and I'm going to do that now. You keep one of the rocks, and it turns the other rock into a sharp rock. And this sharp rock can also be used, and if I swap their positions here, it'll highlight them. There we go. You'll see it's highlighting the sharp rock now, because it says that's the one I'm using for this recipe. This game is very intuitive, a lot of fun. There's a lot to be done in it that you can explore. A lot of tricks and tips to survival. There's also a great wiki if you get stuck on anything. And like I said, I'll keep a link in the description. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would let me know if you'd like to see more free games in this vein. Do you like roguelikes? Do you like survival games? Or would you rather see some free games in other veins? Because I do plan on covering some more free games that, you know, have very little in the way of gates in terms of getting into them. So just to demonstrate some final things here, I'm going to eat these cooked spiders and drink the desalinated water just to sort of finish up this video. So if I eat the spider, you'll notice I got some hunger and some stamina back, but I didn't completely fill my hunger back because spiders aren't very substantial in terms of their nutrition. And if I drink this water as well, you'll notice it completely filled my thirst and a little bit of my hunger and a little bit of my stamina, because you don't feel quite as hungry when you've drank water. But for now, that's more or less it. I'm going to sleep out this night so that you can see what happens. There we go. See it slowly transition to daytime as I'm sleeping. There we go. It's getting a little bit brighter out. And again, a little bit brighter out. I'll sleep one more time just for the final demonstration. There we go. So let's go get eaten by a shark. No, please, shark. And there you go. That's more or less the game, and this is what you'll see when you'll die. And if you want to start a new game, press spacebar, bada bing bada boom, click start game, and you're off to another one. So if you enjoy games like this, please do check it out. It's a lot of fun, and honestly, what better price is there than free?